I'm going to start with Captain Nice this time because this is one of my favorite episodes. Alice Ghostly as Carter's mother features prominently in this one. Those two things may be related. As our story opens, Carter and his mother are walking home from a late movie when they see a woman in distress in a burning building. Carter climbs into a dark laundry truck, changes into Captain Nice, and races to the rescue. Obviously, he should have turned the light on in the truck. After he saves the girl, he heads back into the building to make sure nobody else is trapped inside. Unfortunately, his mother makes a big mistake.
Carter, be careful!
Carter. The girl he saved asks about it, but she has the brains of an eggplant, so Carter's mother is able to explain it away. The arsonist isn't so easily taken in. At Mayor Uncle Fred's office, he and the chief are discussing the arsonist with Carter. They have only one piece of evidence.
We got this.
What is it?
Well, the arsonist must have used it to start the fire.
Let me see that. Kerosene?
That's right.
Any fingerprints?
Not until now.
Egad, Chief Ziegel is the arsonist. The fingerprints say so. When the show originally aired, I actually found myself waiting for that joke. But thankfully for all concerned, it didn't happen. They had the good sense to leave it right there because that's a good gag. And it tells us something about the chief and how careless he is. They round up every known arsonist in this city so Miss Devine, the girl Captain Nice saved, can try to identify the arsonist. But she says the only one who got a good look at the man was Captain Nice. They'll need him to identify the criminal. So the next question is, how do they get a hold of him?
Put out an emergency call for a man answering to the name of Captain Nice, about 5'8", 140 pounds, wears a red, white, and blue costume with a cape and mask, and flies through the air. You got that?
Yes, sir. Now, what about any distinguishing characteristics?
Meanwhile, they go ahead with the lineup for Miss Devine. You never know.
Recognize any of them, Miss Devine?
No, I don't.
Okay, you men can go.
Does anyone have a light?
Get those guys out of here!
The jokes are amazingly good this week. I think the chief's reaction is what sold that one. He says, "That's it, we need Captain Nice." The only other person nearby was the owner of the building, Mr. Lipton, and he didn't see anything. Just then, he comes in.
This is Carter Nash.
You say Carter.
Uh-oh, for the first time in the show, we get a sense of real peril. This guy knows Captain Nice's real identity. If he reveals it, not only will Carter be swamped by curiosity seekers and people wanting something, his family will be in danger. Now what? Carter doesn't realize how much Lipton knows, so he has his mother repair some holes in his costume. Then he drinks the formula so he can go down to headquarters and tell them about Lipton.
Do you mind if I watch? I just love to see you change into Captain Nice.
Now, Mother...
Carter, have I ever asked you for much? Have I ever been a demanding mother? Tell me the truth, have I?
Well...
Watch it.
I told you she was the real star of the show. He goes to HQ, has them arrest Lipton, then says yes, he'll testify in court tomorrow. Because it's a half-hour show and we don't have time for a whole bunch of legal preparation.
You don't know what he's talking about. That's Captain Nice. He's insane. That may be, but he's still Captain Nice.
I'm actually enjoying this episode. For the most part, and for one brief, shining moment, they've managed to capture the technique of using these old jokes and making them work. I suspect they snuck into Batman's secret files to figure it out. While Captain Nice is waiting to testify, Lipton sends him a message. "If I'm found guilty, I'll reveal your true identity." Carter isn't sure that Lipton really knows, but he doesn't want to take the chance. He and his mother concoct a plan. Captain Nice testifies and identifies Lipton, then hightails it out of the courtroom as quick as he's excused. The idea is that he changes back to Carter Nash as quickly as possible, then slips into the courtroom as though he's been there all the time. The judge gives his verdict, guilty. Lipton says, "Guess what? I'm going to reveal the identity of Captain Nice, and he's right here in this room."
And everybody, with your hands up! Up! Now I'll be able to escape. Because since Captain Nice is sitting right here among us, he won't risk giving away his identity by trying to stop me. Even if he did try to stop me, I would start shooting. A lot of innocent people would get killed. Don't try anything, Captain Nice.
Look, it's Captain Nice.
And he's a ginger, who knew? They all dash out the door trying to find Captain Nice. Carter finds her behind the door.
How'd I do?
Mother? You were great, but what did you hit him with?
Well, I wouldn't want this to get around, but Captain Nice just spoiled a would-be killer with his purrs.
On those rare occasions over the years when I thought of this show, I always thought of that scene. It still makes me laugh.
How did I look? Wasn't I sensational?
Yes, of course, but I
I wish someone had had a camera.
Mother, I never want you to do that again.
Now listen here, Carter. If it hadn't been for my quick thinking, they would have found out that you're Captain Nice. Now nobody can ever suspect you.
Well, maybe that's true, but
Carter.
nevertheless...
How about us working as a team?
Absolutely not.
Can't you just see it, the two of us, thwarting crime, stopping bullets, bounding over buildings?
It's impossible. I'm not about to let you get involved with murderers, thieves, and gangsters.
Time for Mom's secret weapon.
Okay, go ahead and say it. You're ashamed of your own mother.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, I worked and slaved to give you a good upbringing and a college education, and now you won't even introduce me to your friends.
Mother, come back here. Mother, get off that sill.
May I just say, I love this episode. We see some real development here. We know a lot more about Carter and his mother, we know a lot more about the chief, and we've seen a story that actually puts Captain Nice in danger of a sort. The show overall is really starting to flesh out the characters. And the jokes? Well, let's be fair. Alice Ghostly got most of them, and she's basically carrying the show. But the majority of them, whether from her or the chief or someone else, were really good. Let's move on to Mr. Terrific. That story begins with Stanley Beamish just getting out of prison. Wait, what? Obviously this isn't Stanley. Stanley wouldn't be caught dead in that cat because it might clash with his overalls. No, this is Fingers McLean, one of the best safecrackers in the world. He's also getting out 2 days early so a couple of cops can pick him up to keep him out of sight for a while. The idea is to put Stanley in his place since they look exactly alike. A well-known bank robbery ring is going to recruit Fingers for their next job, and Stanley is supposed to infiltrate them and find out when and where the job will go down. He'll have his pills with him, of course. At the gas station, Hal has a great idea to help Stanley build some muscles.
What is it?
Ta-da!
Dr. Zook.
Zooks.
Zook's Strength and Bodybuilding Tonic.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I got a couple more bottles in the apartment. I guarantee a couple of bottles of this stuff and a little bit of exercise, you'll have a whole new body.
If it doesn't work, he gets his money back. Doc Terminus said so. Reed calls and gives Stanley his mission. A delivery girl brings him his pills, and the mission is on. He makes an excuse about a sick aunt to Hal, and 2 days later, Stanley walks out of the prison into the arms of Fingers' girlfriend, Dolly.
Come here.
I think he has her fooled, BJ.
Bet you ain't been kissed like that lately.
Not lately.
Yeah.
It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. At the hideout, the gang wants Fingers to prove he's the real thing by opening a safe they just happen to have. Stanley takes a pill, shows off a bit beating up one of the goons who insulted Dolly, and then opens the safe.
He took the lock right out of the safe.
But that ain't the way it's supposed to be done.
Who cares? All I know is he opened the safe. Kid, you're all right.
All right. He's terrific. Oh, Fingers, you're tougher than ever. Please, you're bruising my lips.
Stanley may be getting a little too far into character. We cut to a hotel room where the real Fingers and the cop are playing checkers. I wonder why we're watching that. Gosh, didn't see that coming. He steals a car and heads for Dolly's place, but the car he stole needs gas.
Come on, have a little service.
Look, I'm doing the best I can. My partner's... Stan!
Huh?
Boy, am I glad you're back, partner. That'll be $4.20, sir.
Pot?
Fingers calls a friend and discovers that he's been doing some interesting things while he was incommunicado. Hal still thinks he's Stanley, so he's shocked when Stanley is rude to customers and generally acts like a jerk. He blames the tonic and pours it all out. Stanley manages to report the information about the robbery, but after he reports, the boss moves the timetable up. Now Stanley isn't sure what to do, but he won't get a chance to figure it out because just then, Fingers shows up at the door. How can they decide which is the real one?
Come here, Dolly.
Oh, Fingers.
Come here, Dolly.
Oh, well, that's Fingers, but he's improving.
She needed all that to tell the difference? All Aunt Harriet needed was a kiss on the hand. Amateur! They tie Stanley up and take him with him on the job as a hostage. Fingers goes to work on the vault.
We may have to blast.
Blasting's too noisy. I thought you said you could open anything.
That was me.
Come on, we ain't got all night.
Look, this is a tough one. I ain't had much practice lately. Why don't you just pull the lock off?
The boss says, "That's right, you did that. Can you do it again?" Stanley says, "Give me one of my pills and I can." So now these guys know there's a man running around who takes pills to gain incredible strength. Stanley Beamish, super spy.
He opened it.
I'll toss the money out. Here, catch! Have some hundreds, have some 50s. Here, have some more. Cut!
Stanley's antics discombobulate him long enough for the police to arrive and wrap everything up, except that we never see what happened to Dolly. This show is going nowhere. Whereas Captain Nice is starting to develop some of the characters and put them into an actual developing city situation, Mr. Terrific is just jumping from one gag setting to another. The only reason to keep watching is to see if the gags get any better, or if you have a morbid curiosity about what goofy setting they'll put Stanley in next. I don't have any reason to care what happens to these guys because they're nothing but props, just like the cars and phones and everything else. We're trying so hard to be funny, we're forgetting to be human. As I said, at the end of this one, we never find out what became of Dolly. But I don't care because she was mainly a prop for sorting out who was the real Fingers. She doesn't come across as a real person. In the Captain Nice universe, we do still have one character who's in that same situation, Sergeant Kane. We haven't seen enough of her to get an idea who she really is. Hopefully that'll change soon. But that means Captain Nice has failed to develop one of its 5 main characters. Mr. Terrific has so far failed to develop any of its 4 main characters. I feel like I'm watching a turtle race, and both of the turtles are dead.